Bitterness criticism. Today we will criticize some Norwegian and English news, nor ours news. Not yet. Someday I will make my own news, I guess. I hope. Just 1 second. 1 second. And here we are with the I don't know how the name is of this is. It's a big poster for protests about industrialization here in Chile, in global South. Of course, I don't really have a hope on this because we will defeat it by right wing, and now we don't have any choice. We don't have any choice here in Chile. Our only choice is global war. This is our only hope. Nah, just kidding. Nah, I don't know really. This is a theory that says that when global war in the northern hemisphere, the global northern hemisphere war, kill all the north hemisphere, that will be awesome for the global south. This is pretty cold there in Norway. Looks like I don't know if this is a NATO. Probably this is another NATO newsletter, unfortunately. And I searched by myself here in Google. I find out how I get that news from the NL Times. That was from Facebook. Facebook was sponsored. Can you imagine that? NATO is sponsoring lots of news just to wash our brains. Well, I will read this news that it shows here. I'm pretty sure that they are a NATO newsletter like NL Times from Netherlands. But this is very important to me because these two countries are my favorite. I don't know, because of the social indexes. Norwegian is the country with the highest HDE, I don't know how to say, the Human Development Index. Norwegian is the best country in the world. So that's why I am sad because of NATO stuff. New Arctic Air Force may take off as war tensions arise. February 21, this was today. A new shield settled over Norway on Tuesday, after the president of neighboring Russia made it clear that his war on Ukraine won't be ending anytime soon. It's funny because right now, right here, as I told you, as I read, we can understand that this is a non-pro-Russia newspaper because they don't even name it Vladimir Putin. And this is a curious fact that Norway in Russia are neighbors because of some north frontier. This is just a curiosity. Well, I'll read this NATO newsletter. NATO have a lot of newsletter, and it's like American deep state, like they release some newsletter, and then all these NATO journals, the Western media, they multiply the news. That's it. This is the same news here, and news in English.no. News in English. what a direct name, isn't it? Lack of creativity. Like me, why they don't name it his magazine, like his newspaper, like Bitterness Criticism? It's a good name. But I guess they are not critics. Russia. A new shield settled over Russia on Tuesday after the president of neighboring Russia made it clear that his war on Ukraine won't be ending anytime soon. Well, this is the war of Putin. Yeah. And what about Nord Stream 2? What about? I will search about this, about Nord Stream 2. I will find nothing here. That raises ongoing concerns about Norway's own defense, even as it's sending weapons to Ukraine, and it may lead to participation in a new Arctic Air Force. There's a lot of oil in the Arctic. We have here a photograph of a Norwegian F-35 fighter jet recently took off from the Keflavik Air Base in Iceland during a 4-week deployment that was part of NATO. Anyway, Norway recently wrapped up deployment of 4 of its new F-35 fighter jets to Iceland. NATO reported that the deployment was aimed at securing Iceland's airscape, with the Norwegian F-35s on stably and ready to be scrambled if unidentified aircraft came too close. I think this is not possible. Russia will not attack Norway, but it's a NATO country anyway, so they are doing what they have to do. It was all part of a continual NATO air policy mission meant to preserve the security of Alliance airspace. Norway was taking part for the second time with its 5th generation fighter jets. Now the head of the Royal Norwegian Air Force is keen on formation of a new Arctic Air Force command made up of the US, Canada, and all the Nordic countries, including Finland and Sweden, which are poised to join NATO as soon as possible. Major General Rolf Follen thinks the new natural step will be establishment of a Nordic Center of Air Force operations. The thought has been met positively by my colleagues in Sweden and Finland. Follen told newspaper after posting this week. He thinks there's clear interest in a regional initiative for a joint Air Force command on NATO's northern flank. I think I will go to Brazil. I think I will I don't know, will keep hearing. The problem is that Chile is maybe a NATO country too. Because Chile, or I will tell you later, the TTP 11 was just started on functioning here, so that is close to be a NATO country. Follen's remark came just before Russian President Vladimir Putin held a lengthy annual speech on Tuesday, in which he defended that what he still calls his special military operation in Ukraine. Putin, who ordered the invasion of Ukraine a year ago, now claims Russia's own existence is under threat. He also rejected any new inspections of atomic installations and declared that the New START agreement to do so was on ice. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, the former Norwegian Prime Minister, responded by saying that it was clear Putin is preparing for more war. Well, Mr. I forgot what I will say. George Soros says that that Russia may lose the war and the Russian Empire should collapse, will collapse. Folland said a so-called Arctic Operations Center will encompass nearly 250 modern fighter jets and gather expertise among players familiar with conditions in the far north. We have a lot to learn from each other, Folland said. Nothing that the initiative could assemble a lot of coordinated defense and integrate Sweden and Finland air forces in an area where Russia also has a major presence. Well, in fact, nothing is and really is not any news for me. I did know. I do know that all the NATO countries are I don't know. But all this is a kind of lie because NATO. But is a tricky. Geopolitics is always tricky, isn't it? Because the question is Russia? Look, very beautiful. What a beautiful Norwegian. I like was this new SV leader? Who are they? Who or she? Look, Socialist Left Party. Yeah, I guess I will read that. And who is that? She's the girl. I guess I will read all this. This not Nina Berglug, I guess. Well, I will find who is her. I like the women like that. Anyway,